before I start, I want to ask for your permission. Not on? On now? Great. That's probably a really good example, actually, of what I love about this environment. So what I want to ask for your permission for is to kind of scrap a little bit of the talk that I'd made, adapt it a bit, and have a bit more of a conversation. Is that okay? Yeah? Yeah? So Alion, thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for creating this. So I came yesterday to see one of the talks, and I just felt different when I got in this room, right? There is an expectation in this room. There's something that draws on you in this room. And it was when Umut was speaking and people responded, and I was like, oh, okay. People came not just to listen, but to contribute, right? So this conversation is gonna go how you want it to go as well as how I want it to go, right? So thank you all for creating this environment, and also thank you for allowing my baby to be in the room, as you could hear it. So, there's no place like home, right? We all know we might all know who this is. This is Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and she longs for home, right? There's no place like home, there's no place like home, there's no place like home. When you hear that, what do you think? What comes to your mind when you hear there's no place like home? For some people, there's like this movie scene that happens in the house. What you were talking about, I think of my grandma. I think of the home that I grew up in, the swings that I played on as a child, right? Some people have a really clear sense of home. Some of us in the room, this is what happens. I'm one of those people. For me, there's no place like home is actually, there's no place like home. My mind goes blank. Where is actually home? Is it Nigeria that I was born in but I don't remember? And when I go back there, they look at me and go, he's not from here. He breathes different. He dresses different. Is it England where I've lived for 34 years, but I'm not English looking, right? I sound English, which is great, but I'm not really English. England has never really been home because when I come back from school and I get back into my parents' house, I'm not in England anymore. I'm in like a Nigerian embassy because my parents are Nigerian. They don't raise me like my friends' parents do. I go to my friends' houses and they call their aunts and uncles by their first names, and I didn't know my parents' first name until I was like 15 because it's just mum, dad, auntie, uncle. That's what our culture is. So I grew up in a place where it wasn't really home for me, even though I've lived there for most of my life. But what I started to realize and to take from Amit's talk is that home is nowhere, but home is also everywhere, right? And for me, home means comfort and confidence. I can be comfortable in my environment and I can be confident because that's my home. So what I started to realize was that I could make home wherever I want it to be. So I've been in Austria for 2 days now. It's starting to feel like home, right? I'm starting to make it home for me. And that's the choice that I make. And I loved what Miglena said. You have choices to make what you want to make, to create what you want to create. The environment can be whatever it is, but I can create home. I can make home important. And my question for you is, but why do we care about home? What difference does that make to your day-to-day life? So believe it or not, I was a basketball player. You might not be able to tell. And in sports, there's this concept called home court advantage, right? Where when teams are playing at home, on average, they win more than the teams that are playing away, right? Why is that? Comfort, confidence. You can look out into the crowd, see people you recognize, people that are rooting for you, right? You've played in that court 50 million times. That's where you've practiced. That's where everything, you've got your routines, you've got the people you say hi to on the way into the arena. Home court advantage is a massive thing. The teams that are really successful are the teams that can win on the road, right? Go into a hostile environment and still be able to feel confident and feel comfort and deliver the result. And it's funny because when I was thinking about this talk, I was thinking about hostile environment and I was like, ooh, do I want to label it a hostile environment? But then when you said, actually, this is one of the most hostile environments for a foreigner, I was like, thank God. I'm actually on a good track with this thing, right? Because, because actually, that's what it feels like sometimes when it's not just about moving country, starting a new job, starting a new course at a university, going to a new gym, going to a new restaurant. These can all feel like hostile environments. But there is a way that we can find comfort and confidence no matter where we are. When I was young and in school, one of my teachers was like, you just treat life like a Caribbean island. You're just relaxed, And for me, I started to realize that that's because I find home wherever I am. If I'm there for an hour, 2 hours, 2 weeks, whatever, that becomes my home, right? And I started to think about what is it that I do, because some people do things naturally and don't know why they do it, but if we can be intentional about the things that we do and how we do them, we can get to pretty repeatable results quite quickly, right? It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be easier, And I loved what you said about, getting to that point where you don't just long for what you had, We can often recreate what we had in other places. Because actually, if I want to be able to look out into the crowd and see familiar faces, I can do that for myself wherever I am. Even here, there's familiar faces for me, right? I never thought I could go to Vienna and find familiar faces, right? That's not something I would have thought of, but it's possible. So here's my little framework. Oh, that skipped a slide. There is a slide missing, but that's okay. So I'm going to do it from memory, which is why it's good I asked for your permission before, right? Great. So when I think about home, the first thing, and the framework spells home, of course it does. The first thing is habits. What are the habits that we're doing on a day-to-day basis? So for example, I started a new job 2 weeks ago. I had a choice to make about the habits that I do. Am I going to keep myself to myself, or am I going to find 1 or 2 people every day to message on Teams because we're mostly remote? Am I going to bring my own lunch, or am I going to go to the cafeteria and have lunch with other people on the days that I'm in the office? When you move to a new country, are you going to sit at home and watch Netflix all the time? Or are you going to talk to people from home that remind you of where you've left? Or are you going to do one thing a week that gets you out of your comfort zone and gets you to meet new people? Our habits, we rise or fall to the level of our habits, right? So it doesn't have to be a massive thing, but one little habit that you can start to build all the time that gets you to feel more like home. O is about being open to opportunities. Opportunities are going to present themselves everywhere that you go. Whether it's that person that smiles at you in reception that you can have a further conversation with, or when I started my job, I was 3 hours in and they wanted to give me a really big project, right? And I could either have gone, look, I'm 3 hours in, I've not even had lunch yet. Or I can go, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it, right? Comfort and confidence. That for me comes from feeling like I can figure it out. Everything is figure-outable, right? I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. No one is dying based on what I do, right? So take the opportunities. Magdalena found an opportunity. Alion saw an opportunity and just started to do the little thing. It's not always going to be, okay, I'm going to found this massive company. It's just, I'm going to start talking to more people, or I'm at the gym, I can share the equipment with someone else and take that opportunity to develop something further. M is for making connections. One of the things that lots of people are nervous about is, are people going to like me? Are people going to understand me? Are people going to know me? Making connection is really about being more interested in others than you are interesting to others. So it's not actually about me having to make you like me. It's about me getting to know you. studies have found that the people that have the highest likability are actually the people that when they talk to others, others feel known and interesting. Because I've asked questions. One of my goals, and Ali mentioned that I'm a podcaster, when I'm doing a podcast with someone, my goal is to ask them a question that makes them light up, right? So when you ask someone a question and they go, oh, they're excited to tell you that answer, that's a goal of mine for a podcast. And consistent feedback that I get from my podcast is like, it feels like therapy. I feel like we know each other really, really well. That's my goal, is to make people feel at home. Comfort and confidence, right? And that's something everybody here can do. Everybody can do. Don't need to be super smart to do it. We've got ChatGPT now as well. Ask it, what are some questions that I can ask others to light them up? Some of it is going to be observant. Be a person that listens, right? Pull on threads. That's what I've started to do when I was podcasting, is just pull on threads. You said this thing. What exactly do you mean by that? Why do you mean that? What does that mean to you? Really, really simple things that everybody here can do, but it increases that level of connection. Then the E is for exploring your environment, right? Often we drive everywhere. Because we have a baby, I've recently started taking quite long walks so that hopefully mum can get a nap, right? I've lived in my area for 4 years. In the past 6 months, I have gone to places that I've never been before just because I'm walking around trying to get him to sleep. I'm seeing things that I've never seen before. And that's given me a sense of knowing my environment, knowing what's around me, being more comfortable to go places just because I've been going for walks for an hour or two a day. Doesn't have to be a massive thing, but maybe sometimes take a walk instead of taking the bolt. Park somewhere and go walk around for 10, 15 minutes, see what's around. So I did that yesterday, right? I was looking for a certain type of shop, called the shop, didn't pick up the phone. No one picked up the phone. I called multiple places, no one picked up. So I thought, you know what? Looked at Google Maps, it's a 15-minute walk. I'm just gonna walk there, right? And I saw things on that walk that already made me feel more confident, more comfortable. Oh, okay, there's 3 Euro spas on the way to this place, and there's a, whatever it is, Bilal or whatever. Okay, now I'm getting my bearings of what's around me. If you're in the office, walk a different way to and from the cafeteria, get lost somewhere. All of those things build comfort and confidence. Let's see what is actually. There it was. A slide after it was meant to be, but that's fine, that's fine. So what now? This is like in Spanish because Portuguese starts at the beginning. But comfort and confidence, right? So what now? What is your hostile environment? Where is it that you're going that you feel like you're not at home? And what we went through with home is just things for you to be questioning yourself on. What are my habits, right? Take ownership of creating your home, right? We talk about making home. Take ownership of that. What are my habits? Am I doing things that are making me feel more at home or making me feel homesick? What are the opportunities that I have before me? What are things that I can volunteer for or put myself to that will start connecting me to the right types of people, to the right types of environments? Like, this room is amazing. It's full of people who all really want the same thing. This is a rare type of room. People who actually take action and get out of bed on a Saturday morning to come to be inspired and meet other people. There is opportunity in this room. Am I making connections? Set yourself a goal or a target. Look back over, okay, I've been here for a year. What connections have I actually made? Who have I spoken to? What connections have I missed? There are things that are happening on a day-to-day basis that we can take advantage of or just let go. Make those connections. And am I exploring? Am I actually looking at what's around me and finding new things? When was the last time I tried a new restaurant, or I went to a new place, or this place is full of museums. When was the last time I went to a museum just to explore, just to learn something new? The opportunities to make home are all around us. So remember, there's no place like home. Home can be nowhere or home can be everywhere. It's totally up to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.